Hyper G from Proxy Table Gaming, back with another Warhall tutorial, the third one in the series, and this one is going to be full of cool stuff. And here we are in Warhall, and the reason why I have started off by saying this tutorial is going to be full of cool stuff is I'm not entirely sure that this is going to really count as a tutorial, because basically it's me in Warhall clicking stuff. Yes, that was the overriding lesson of session 2, if you remember. I'm basically going to be clicking stuff and finding out what cool features Warhall has to offer. And there's a reason why I've decided not to go down the full tutorial kind of approach with this one. And that's because in between my last tutorial, said with inverted commas, and I am doing them even though you can't see me doing them, between that session and now, I've had one or two battles on Warhall, and Warhall is changing, it's adapting, it's evolving so much because of the tireless work that is being done behind the scenes by the designers, that even someone like myself, who is very much keeping up to date with Warhall and how it's going and playing with it regularly, even I am struggling to remember all the new features and learn them as I go. And while I would say that is a struggle, it's only a struggle because it just keeps on changing at the moment. And so I think that I'm going to lay off the tutorial side of things just for now, and I'm going to just basically showcase a few things that have changed about Warhall since I last did a tutorial. And I mean, there is still going to be elements of how to do things, so hopefully it'll loosely still qualify as something that will help you, as opposed to just me clicking buttons and doing woo, that sort of reaction, because there will be plenty of that. And yeah, hopefully you'll still get to see a few of the features and how to use them as I do them. So with that rather long-winded and relatively pointless introduction, I am going to start showing you what things I've discovered about the changes in Warhall recently and how you can use them to make your games epic. So one thing I am going to show you first of all is within the menu at the top. Now, this is something that I didn't play with before. One of the ways I showed you to import your army in tutorial 2 was to go into new recruit, view your army list, and once you'd copied it to the clipboard, it would automatically trigger in Warhall, and it could be spawned in that way. There is another way that you can do it, and that's by using the import button over here. Now, when you click on it, it gives you an option to log in to your new recruit membership. Now, I've logged in. I am Hyper G on that as well, as you'd expect, and it will automatically log you in to your new recruit login and allow you to see the army lists that you have created. Now, I will say that it does look like there's a few kinks in this system currently, because I have created far more lists than are showing in here, which is currently just Dread Elves and a Vampire Covenant. But that is probably because this is a relatively new feature and being worked on. But I still wanted to show you it nonetheless, because I think it is incredibly cool. Like, I mean, Dread Elves, I mean, I've got a 4,300 point list for some reason. I can't even remember when it was I was using that. I've also got many other types of lists going on. I mean, that one, again, it's 4,815. They were all things I was trialing with Dread Elves, so, you know, it will all depend on what you've got saved in your new recruit. But one of the more recent tournaments, one that we're going to be reporting on very soon, because it followed the Scottish Championships, is the team event, No Iron Team, which Lucky Sixes and myself took part in. And we actually ended up taking this Vampire Covenant army. You can't look at it and see any spoilers for how to beat the list, because I'm afraid the tournament's already happened. But anyway, that is another tangent whatsoever. And yeah, basically, once you've logged into your new recruit membership on this screen, you can pick the list that you want to deploy into a Warhall, And yeah, it basically just comes up. You can see it here, and you can press deploy, and hey presto, it is literally here. And how cool is that? I mean, that's even taking out the buttons where you have to view your army and copy to clipboard. That is literally just logging in Warhall as though you were in New Recruit, and you've got your army here. And I mean, with Vampire Covenants, they haven't quite got fully rendered Court of the Damned at the moment, which is indicated by this rather interesting design. But nonetheless, my army is imported in that way. So that's a totally different way to how I showed you in tutorial 2. And that is definitely one way I wanted to demonstrate, really. There is a possibility, and this is a little bit of a kink on this one as well. I'll log out. There is a possibility that if you're logged out and you don't even log into New Recruit, you can actually paste your army list in here. Now, I'm not going to mess around with this one live on this tutorial now. It'll possibly be one for a future tutorial because I haven't really played with it yet. But basically what this is demonstrating is that the guys at Warhall are making so many ways for you to be able to create your lists and make it easy for you. So you really will not have much of a job at all creating your battle. So that's one feature that I wanted to show you. Again, we've got the magic cards spawned, which is really cool. I kind of touched on that in tutorial 2 because it was a bit of a surprise to me when it happened. But yeah, every single time that I log into Warhall and it gets a new update, it seems like there's something improving about it. So yeah, that import feature is the first one that I want to mention. Another one that I want to mention is this game info button. Now, obviously, at the moment, I've only imported one army into the battlefield, and therefore, on this side of the field, there is a no list imported showing. We currently have no map, no deployment, and no objective also, because I haven't loaded them up yet. But yeah, this is an interesting thing. It basically shows my army, and I can click on this, and it will tell you how many points your opponent has scored after killing my Vampire Courtier. Now, my Vampire Courtier was in fact also a BSB. So not only is he worth 705 points, but he's worth the BSB points extra 200. And this is a great way that you can use to keep track of how many points you have achieved. It even has a half points. Literally half points for getting that guy down to 3/4 wounds, whatever. And yeah, how nice is this feature? It's definitely a good feature for the people who, and there are people amongst them, I have been known to do it myself, who literally record every point that they've earned throughout a battle. And yeah, you can use it to judge how you're getting on towards the end of the battle so that you know whether or not you need to go for the objective or not, etc. And this is a screen that I would very much encourage you to play with by clicking. That was lesson 2, remember? And you can see how you go. I mean, I'm not sure. What does the ready button do? That sort of grays it all out. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what options would be available for your opponent to see as well. Like if, for example, I was in this Warhall room with Lucky Sixes, would he see the same buttons that I'd clicked on, for example? So yeah, that's possibly one that I need to get him involved in to see if we can do a live tutorial of interactive when you're against an opponent. Anyway, it's a really cool feature. Not least as which is one thing I haven't even mentioned about this is that you can quickly see your opponent's list without having to ask them. If you want to see, the Necromancer, does he have any upgrades? Well, actually, yes, he does. He has the Necromantic Staff. You can see that without going to your opponent and getting him to run you through it. It's literally right there. And that's also a way of doing it without relying on, for example, when you click on the Necromancer on the tabletop, you can see this. When you hover over him, he's got all of the upgrades that he's got there. But it's basically meaning that Warhall is giving you ways of doing multiple outcomes. It's giving you multiple ways to achieve what you want to achieve, and all of which are pain-free. at least as far as I can see. Another little feature that I've sort of stumbled across just by looking at it here is that you can, the agility, it actually shows you the upgraded agility if your unit manages to charge. So normally the Necromancer is agility 3, but if he manages to charge, he becomes agility 4. And there are all sorts of little toys that you get from hovering over things. And I mean, look, it's a different kind of notes at the bottom, because when I just hover over the model itself, I get this smaller version of the bottom right screen, and I get all sorts of information on that about the units and the stats and everything. But when I actually move my mouse down to the bottom right, I actually get an expanded version, which pretty much has everything I'm ever going to need to know about that vampire courtier on the Court of the Damned. And none of this is stopping you from writing in notes here. So, for example, although I know that this guy is on a Court of the Damned for one reason or another, whether it be a Warhall thing or just something that is currently in production, I know he's on a Court of the Damned. It hasn't mentioned it anywhere. Obviously, you've got the obvious telltale signs here. But I can actually add notes in, and my opponent can see those notes, so that they can write. You can write anything. Kill this model, he's worth so much. There you go. And yeah, when I click on it, that's still there. And my opponent can see that too. And hopefully they'll see that message and decide not to kill my vampire courtier. Anyway, that is completely random. So, what shall I move on to next? Let's have a look if there's anything else. Yes, quick start. I want to show you how this has changed, because this has got an upgrade as well. Like I say, this is purely cool stuff. The maps have been expanded on. You'll notice that they've now got their official names for the 2021 official map pack. There are 16 available, and as before, you can literally click on them and one appears. Wow, that is a busy map, and there's a lot going on there, but how beautiful does that look? You know, you can randomize, as you always have been able to, and you can flip the battlefield. Front of the clash, it's currently not showing, yeah, you can flip the deployment lines. There you go. Flip, flip, flip. And the objective, of course, as before, they haven't changed because they're pretty standard for a 9th Age game. This is another button that's been added, though. Flux, Veils, and Wounds. Now, in Tutorial 2, you saw me very much going through the Create option at the top left, and how you could create your Flux card, your Veil tokens, Wounds, etc. Well, now you can actually just click on it at the start of the battle. And not only does it spawn one for your opponent, which is kind of cool. Look at this. Watch this. Watch this. Wait a minute. If I go over here, now the flux cards are facing me. The flux cards are facing me, no matter which way I go. Yeah, kind of cool. Kind of a bit sad that I like that so much. But yeah, and you also get some wound tokens, and you get some veil tokens. Great. So you can literally spawn those at the touch of a button, rather than having to do them one by one. Another cool feature. What else do we want to show you? Options. Now, I'm opening myself up to a lot of criticism with this, trying to explore this options menu. But yeah, if you're a clever person who likes to do everything just by clicking on the keyboard, you can make key bindings in Warhol for all the different things that you want to do. I've played around with a few of them, mainly by accident. But yeah, you can change them to what you want to do. And it gives you the option. Of course, if you want to know how to do something, for example, if you've forgotten how to take a screenshot, or a screenshot in this occasion, you just left shift and press P. It'll tell you. So, great way of remembering how to do stuff. So, army colours, I think that one is one that's currently there so that it can be expanded upon. So I'm not even going to bother clicking into that for the time being, but it's interesting to show that they are thinking along those lines. The wounds is another feature that I think is in production at the moment. At least I don't know how to use it, so what's the point of me doing a tutorial if I don't know how to use it? That is a common theme. I'll just say that right now. Facing on and off. Yeah, you can click on, I mean, you see how in front of the units they've got these little triangles. You can click that on and off, so that if it's getting in your way or you don't like the lack of realism that shows you, just turn it off. And then you haven't got a unit facing. And you have to rely on seeing which way your zombies are facing, which isn't actually that difficult to figure out. But, you know, the bats, for example, if you only had one bat, it could be a bit ambiguous as to what way they were facing. So in that case, you just go into the menu options, facing on, and then you know that the triangle points to where they're facing. What other ones do I dare press on this? Base visibility. Okay, so that's a bit odd as well. But yeah, it turns off the base. I'm not sure why you would want to do that without. Okay, it's kind of a bit of realism, but then the actual movement trays are still kind of there. So yeah, interesting one. This is a feature, toggle full screen. This allows you to have your Windows and your other programs up, which is cool because I know that if you have other features open on your laptop or your PC, whatever it is, that you might struggle to be able to see them if it's in full screen mode. Whereas this way, I can click and immediately I'm in Warhall. But hey, there you go. Sorry, not Warhall, New Recruit, and now I'm back in Warhall. But easily enough, I can turn it off again and put full screen back on. As I think has been mentioned before, Essence of War is now very applicable in Warhall, which is great. I'm not sure if that's been shown or not, so I'll leave that for now. But there's certainly plenty of content on the PTG channel that involves Essence of War, and some of it is involving Warhall. So great that Warhall is now Essence of War ready. Settings-wise, this is kind of like the most boring standard menu that you can get. Just changes your preferences, really, with those things. Not even going to say that's cool. It's not. But it's useful. The Create tab, I'm not sure that this has changed since Tutorial 2, so I won't worry about going through that. Let's talk about the camera. Now, I don't think I've talked specifically about the camera. This is obviously a really cool bird's eye view, and you can flip it around with the camera with your mouse as much as you like, and it's awesome. You can use the keys to move around as well. At the moment I've got pan on, where I'm moving my mouse to the left and right, up and down, and it is moving the camera as I go. If you don't like that, you can turn pan off, and that way when I move the mouse to the side, it's not moving. Oh, I can just move it like that. So you know, just features and preference. If you immediately just want a top-down view because your bird's decided to have a rest on top of the battlefield, there you go, top-down. And you can change it again by just using your mouse to look at the other view you wanted. Yeah, so there's all kinds of camera options that you can have to make the game suited to how you want to play it. These things I think we've been through before. Flip deployment lines is just other ways of doing things with the battlefield, locking terrain, deployment lines, that sort of thing. You can also change to flat terrain, of course, as we have proved to you in previous battle reports. So yeah, this, like I say, is a bit of a stopgap tutorial where I'm not necessarily showing you how to do stuff as much as I'm showing you additional features that are being added to Warhall. And I tell you what, the latest battle that I had, which actually, it was kind of funny, it was against, not too many spoilers, but it was in the team tournament. And I hadn't been in Warhall for a week or so. And I played against my opponent, and I'll tell you what, he had less experience of Warhall than I did. But because he had more recent experience of the current version, he knew how to use it way better than I did. And I had to pretty much relearn how I was doing it. Now, these are very much first world problems, i.e. the game is in development, it's going to be changing regularly. When it's more settled, you know, it's so easy to pick up once you know everything that's going on. And talking of when it's more settled, just going to pan out for dramatic effect. It might be worth you guys keeping an eye on Warhall, because in the next couple of weeks, dun dun dun, I'm not allowed to say anymore. I'm not allowed. I'm sworn to secrecy. I'm sorry. I don't even know why I mentioned it. I do know why I mentioned it. to tease you all. Yeah, there is going to be something going on with Warhall in the next few weeks. So keep your eyes and ears to the ground. Probably keep just your ears to the ground. Your eyes keep right ahead of you. You need to see. Yeah, because there is something interesting coming this way, and Warhol improves and improves on an already awesome product. So I will see you for another proper tutorial, hopefully, in the next episode. Take care, guys. See you. No, Lucky Sixes says that. Bye, folks.